Their eye offset. If you notice in tandem, they're off the tackles. It goes to Johnson, and he's finding daylight as he tiptoes through beautifully. Look at the blockers in front of him all the way down.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up, possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, an ex-Giant had some very interesting words to say about Saquon Barkley. He wasn't like, I don't know, bad mouth, so to speak. I mean, he just kind of, I guess maybe he was just kind of speaking just from the heart, just kind of apparently what maybe he sees going on. You know, he said he lost his want to. Very interesting. That was shared by former Giants kicker and two-time Super Bowl champion Lawrence Tynes. He's kind of referring to Saquon had a couple of responses about like people doubting him and stuff like that and all. One of the last responses he had, it says, you know, you can say what you want about me, right? But when things start turning around, I can see how, you know, everyone's shifted to the other side, you know. So when things start turning around for me and things start maybe getting for the better, you know, everybody that, you know, started doubting me and all and everything, make sure you stick to that other side, he said. Make sure you keep that same kind of energy. You know, don't be jumping on and off the Saquon train. You know, things are going, you know, not looking so good and all that and everything. Well, you know, that Saquon's, you know, betting on himself and all and everything. And, you know, but so anybody who's doubting him now, right, what he's saying is, you know, when things start getting better, you know, make sure you don't become my fan. Don't be jumping on my train, right? You stay off. You were off it when things were going bad. Well, you just stay off it now, right? When the Barkley train toot toot, all right, keeps rolling along. So going to be very interesting now because, I mean, I'll go into this a little more detail during this video, but you know, as far as you know, where is Mr. Barkley going to be at this season or the following season after that? Very, very interesting. Now, some people say that you know, Saquon's lack of production, you know, is due to injuries. You know, that's very, very fair. You know, he missed, you know, 3 games in 2019. He missed about 14 3/4. I think it was in 2020. I missed 3 games this past season because of the ankle. I mean, actually, it made me darn near miss 4 games because when he stepped on the Cowboys guy's foot, I mean, that was like the first quarter, I think it was, and he was out. So, I mean, that just killed the Giants. Really hurt the Giants' chances about beating the Cowboys. And then, of course, Daniel Jones gets hurt in that game. And, of course, so you can pretty much forget about any victory in that game. But, you know, so basically he came out. So he missed like 3 3/4 games this year. But, I mean, 2020, he missed like 14 3. I guess when he hurt himself against the Bears, I mean, that was like first quarter, I believe it was. Maybe second quarter. Wasn't the second half, I don't believe. I believe it was like the first or second quarter. So he missed a lot of time last year, right? You know, so I mean, he's slowing down maybe because of the injuries. Like, you know, he comes back from the ankle injury and he can't run quite as well because the ankle's still a little sore. Right, but he wants to play. He's not going to lead on. You know, people are going to ask him, how's your ankle? Oh, boy, I tell you, it's killing me. You know, I'm playing, but I mean, I'll be lucky if I can run the ball at all. I mean, he's not saying, he ain't going to say that. He ain't never going to say that. You know, I'm good. We're ready to roll. Give him the ball, baby. We're ready to rock. You know, that's what he's going to say. So, yeah, I'm sure he was always a little hurt. You know, especially after he tried to just come back, and his production, you know, was paying for it. You know, so some people seem to think that he kind of lost his step. I mean, you can look at that, maybe with the injuries, but I mean, you also look at it, maybe the poor play selections, the bad offensive line play. That's, you got second and third string quarterbacks in there. That's got a little something to do with it too. But Lawrence Tynes seems to think that his regression, all right, is internal. More internal than maybe the injuries. He said Saquon didn't lose a step; he lost his want to. You need to find your why, not your speed. So that's very, very interesting. Now, obviously, Saquon has worked his ass off to be just try to be healthy so he can get back on the field. I mean, like after all his injuries and everything. I mean, when he got hurt against the Bears, I mean, that was a long road back. I mean, you gotta to do what he did and to come back and start playing and all and everything. I mean, that's not easy. I mean, it's I mean, you got all that off season and then you're practicing and you're training and all, and you play like 5 quarters of football, and boom, your season's over with already. You're like, are you freaking kidding me? Now he's got to go all through all that training and just to come back and hopefully maybe be able to play again. I mean, so I mean, obviously, he worked his butt off. Yeah, I mean, you gotta love what you're doing and all everything. But the biggest question or the biggest problem might just be, not so much happen, when he gets on the field, but what's going on inside here, or what's going on inside here. Now, when you're playing football, especially when you get to football, you gotta just get the ball, and you gotta trust everything. You gotta trust your health. You gotta trust your players. You gotta trust the blocking. You gotta trust the play call. You gotta just get the ball, and you just gotta go. But possibly, maybe that's not what winds up happening. I mean, the worst thing you can start doing, when you're on the field, especially you give him the ball, you start thinking, you start doubting, you start worrying about, what's going to happen? Am I going to get hurt again? That's one of the worst things. Especially like when you're a quarterback, and like they say, like the first year or two, whatever, everything's like going a million miles an hour, and as time goes by, things just start slowing down. I mean, like for Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or something who's been around, Drew Brees, I mean, the game's got to be crawling around like there's got to be like, really, I mean, you're just seeing everything, you know what's kind of going on and all. The first year or two, it's, things are just going so fast. I mean, it's hard to really comprehend everything at all. But I mean, especially when you're running the ball, you just got to get the ball. And you just got to, let your athletic ability, know where you're supposed to pretty much go, but just let your athletic ability just take over. You got to, let the think and go, and just do what he does, what God's given him the ability to do, and he's got some amazing, amazing talent. But I mean, if you start getting the ball and you start worrying about, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to step on somebody's foot? Are we going to get the good blocking? You start worrying about that. That's the worst thing that could wind up happening, And you notice, I mean, it seemed like this year, like, he had a couple nice runs. But, I mean, it didn't seem like the same Saquon. It didn't seem like maybe his whole heart and everything was in it, on a lot of the runs. It just really didn't seem like it. I mean, didn't see him jumping over anybody. Just some of the things it just wasn't very Saquon-like. Now, in college, he played only 3 years because he was that good. We drafted him after his junior season. But I mean, in college he missed 2 games as he was a freshman. Now in college they played in he played in 36 out of 38 games in college. He only missed, as I said, 2 games. He played in 14 out of 14 games his sophomore year. He played in 13 out of 13 games his junior year. He only played, he played in, he just missed 2 games his freshman year. That was it. So, I mean, So, but in the pros, he's played in a whopping 44 out of 65 games so far. But if you want to combine his 3 years of college and his first year of the pros, because he wasn't hurt his profession, his first year. He had the offensive rookie of the year, over 1,300 yards rushing, over 700 yards receiving, had over 2,000 combined yards. I mean, phenomenal. He had over 90 receptions. Fantastic season. Of course, it didn't hurt. Then we had Eli Manning out there. Odell Beckham Jr. out there. That didn't hurt too. We had Pat Shurmur calling the plays. That didn't hurt either. But if you want to look at it, it said between his 3 years of college and his first year in the pros, he played in 52 out of 54 games. He missed 2 games, and actually it was his first year, freshman. So he went 3 years in a row. His sophomore season in college, his junior season in college, and his first year in the pros, he played in every game. Didn't miss 1 game. Then you got the last 3 years in the pros, right? There was 49 games. Usually it'd be 48, but it was 16, and then 17. So we got 16, 32, plus the 17 is 49 games. So he played, out of 49 games, he played in 28 of them. He missed 21 games over the past 3 seasons. You get 3 years in a row with all those injuries. You start worrying what's going to, where am I going to? I mean, the one against the Cowboys. Daniel Jones was more responsible for that than anything. He threw it way over his head. I mean, Saquon was wide open. He threw it way over his head. I mean, Saquon, looking for the ball's like this, and Saquon took a couple steps, and he stepped on the guy's ankle. Surprised he didn't break his ankle. I mean, you go 3 years in a row and you just keep getting hurt. I mean, he's just running, looking another way, he's stepping on an ankle, and he's out for a couple of games after that. So you do that 3 years in a row. I mean, you start thinking, oh, what's going to happen? Every time you get the ball, am I going to get hurt again? Am my season going to end on this play? Now his production has gone down quite a bit. I mean, his first year, when his rookie season, he had over 1,300 yards rushing. He averaged 5 yards a carry. Now, of course, he had some nice long runs in there as well, too. I mean, it's not like every time he gets the ball, he gets 5 yards. I mean, he's getting 2, 3, whatever, but then you get a nice long run in there. But his average was 5 yards a carry. The second season he was in there, he missed a couple games, but he still averaged 4.6 yards per carry. It's very respectable, very respectable. His third year, he averaged 1.8. I said the first game was against the Steelers. Then he got hurt against the Bears. So I'm not even counting that. He played 5 quarters. He didn't play anywhere near a full season. So I'm not even really worried about that. But 5 yards a carry. Then he went down to 4.6. And this past season, 3.7 yards per carry. I mean, I know that this play selection stinks. Offensive line is, needs an upgrade by certainly. But 3.7. I mean, it's gone down quite a bit. Now, obviously, he loves the game, right? But he might be able to, he might be having a hard time overcoming his biggest obstacle, which is himself. I mean, you got the injuries and you got bad offensive line play and this, that, and everything. But if you're thinking, instead of reacting, you're just hurting yourself big time. Now, Joe Schoen is a very hard decision, to make, regarding is he going to keep him, is he going to trade him, not re-sign him. I mean, it's going to be, he's due $7.2 million in 2022, and on one of the videos I did recently, was talking about maybe possibly trading him. Maybe get a third-round pick for him. Maybe getting some team to pick up his $7.2 million, and we might get maybe a third-rounder for him. I mean, if he played 4 years, if he was healthy every year and we wound up trading him, I mean, we could probably get a first-rounder for him. I mean, especially if he was playing the way he was playing his rookie season, over 2,000 yards. I mean, we could probably get a first-rounder for him. But I mean, the way he has been playing, and especially the injuries. I mean, I said maybe we can get a third rounder for him. But I mean, you get a third rounder, which would be huge, and you're getting rid of $7.2 million in salary cap. I mean, that's very, very, that's great. I mean, now we're trying to obviously. Shane says compete and rebuild, but we're trying to get rid of some get some cap space. So we're trying to get rid of some players. We're trying to possibly rebuild. Are you going to be paying a running back $10 to $15 million? I don't know if you get 15, but maybe 10 to 12. I mean, I can't see him getting a top, like 15, 16 million, because he has a hard time staying healthy. So maybe 10 to 12 would be fair for him. Are we going to pay him that? You're going to pay him like 5 years, 60 million, 30 million guaranteed. We have so many other pressing needs, So he's got a hard decision. We got him this year. If we don't trade him and get something for him in return, we got him for this year for $7 million. Now, as I said, are you going to wind up signing him long term? I can't see us doing that. I can't see us doing that. It's because he's athletically, he's the most gifted running back we've ever had. Tiki Barber has got the numbers over him, and I don't think he'll ever catch Tiki Barber because he keeps getting hurt. But athletically gifted, he's the most athletically gifted running back we've ever had, period. However, you don't need somebody that gifted to win a Super Bowl. Now, just to prove my point, you go back the last 20 Super Bowls, all right? Because the game's changed so much. I'm not going to go back to Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, right? When when like Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung, were running backs for the Packers. I'm not doing that because the game's changed so much. Nowadays sometimes you're lucky. Maybe you might get one, maybe two running backs in the first round. A lot of people still question whether we should have taken Saquon and picked number 2 and all and everything. But the game's changed so much. I said, to take a running back in the top 10 or nowadays is it's not going to happen this year. It didn't happen last year. So the game's changed a lot. You go back to 1965. All right, the Giants had the first overall pick. They took the first overall pick. They took a running back, Tucker Fredrickson. All right, the pick number 2. All right, the San Francisco 49ers had the second pick. They took a running back. They took Kenny Willard. The third pick, the Chicago Bears had that. All right, they took Dick Butkus, linebacker. We could have Dick Butkus. Why would we want him? We could take Tucker Fredrickson, a running back. The fourth overall pick, the Bears took Gale Sayers. We could have Gale Sayers too, but why would we want Gale Sayers? We took Tucker Fredrickson. But my point is, in 1965, 3 of the top 4 picks in the draft were running backs. That's not happening nowadays, and you don't need a running back in the first round to win a Super Bowl. And just to prove my point, I went back over the past 20 Super Bowls now, which included the Super Bowl, which concluded last night. Congratulations to the Rams and congratulations to Odell Beckham Jr. Very good game, exciting game and all that and everything, and the Rams pulled it out, so congratulations to them and congratulations to Odell Beckham, of course. Fortunately, he got hurt, but he's getting himself a ring, so that's all that counts. Good job. So I'm going from the Super Bowl from last night back to the Super Bowl after the 2002 season, which was between the Buccaneers and the Raiders. The Bucs won 48-21. So from that Super Bowl to the Super Bowl last night is 20 Super Bowls. All right, the last 20 Super Bowls. All right, the running backs, all right, that have been on the winning team of the Super Bowl. There were 6 running backs that were taken in the first round on the teams that won. Now, you go back to last year, all right, 2020 season when the Bucs won. They had Leonard Fournette. He had 90 rushes all year. They didn't win because of him. I can't say they won in spite of him. It wasn't like, oh, thank God we had Leonard Fournette back there running the football, or else we never would have won. No. He had 90 rushes all year in 16 games. He had what, 6 carries a game? He was a first rounder. He was on a winning team, but they won in spite of him. 2009, you got Reggie Bush. The Saints won, right? He's a first rounder. Well, the Saints didn't win because of him. They won more or less in spite of him, because he had 70 carries all year, he played 14 games. He had 70. He averaged 5 carries a game. He had 47 receptions, I believe. The following year, in 2010, he had 36 rushes. After that, he had 3 really good seasons, back to back to back. He had a 1,000-yard season, then he had a 986-yard season, then he went to the Lions and he had a 1,000-yard season. So he did very good there. But the year the Saints won the Super Bowl in 2009, he had 70 carries. He carried the ball 5 times a game, and he was a first-rounder, and they won the Super Bowl. So, well, I'm saying the last 20 Super Bowls, they had running backs. There were 6 running backs on the winning team that were taken in the first round. You know, between like Leonard Fournette and Reggie, but yeah, they didn't win because of those guys. They won kind of like almost in spite of them, because neither one of those 2 guys, you know, had 100 carries in the season. So, I mean, just keep that in mind when I go through these stats, right? So in the second round, all right, there were 5 running backs of the winning Super Bowl team that were taken in the second round. Now, like if you go back, there were some seasons, I went on Wikipedia and I went over the Super Bowls. Now, some of in Wikipedia, some of them listing like fullbacks, right? Like Tampa Bay. In 2002, they had 2 running backs listed. I mean, well, one of them was a fullback, Mike Allstott. So I put him in there because he got the ball, he ran the ball, he blocked and all that and everything. So that's why there's 27 running backs listed out of the last 20 Super Bowls, because there's a couple Super Bowls, there's a couple multiple guys listed. So I put those guys in. I said, other than that, I mean, like last year, I think Leonard Fournette was the only running back. So it was just one. But I mean, some of the Super Bowls had multiple running backs. All right, but in the second round, there was, out of the winning Super Bowl team, there were 5 running backs taken in the second round. Not the first, the second. Third round, there was nobody on the winning team taken in the third round. Nobody. The fourth round, there were 3 running backs taken in the fourth round on the winning Super Bowl teams over the past 20 Super Bowls. The fifth round, there were 2 starting running backs taken in the on the winning football team for the Super Bowls. The last 20 Super Bowls, there was 2 taken in the 5th round. 6th round, there was one running back taken in the 6th round on the winning Super Bowl team. Anyway, the 6th rounder, and they won because of that. The 7th round, there were 3. Actually, kind of in a way, there was only 2, but because 2 out of the 3 were Ahmad Bradshaw, 2007, 2011. We took him in the 7th round, so he's included in both of them. So that's why there's 3. You know, so that's why he counts as 2 out of the 3. But on the winning Super Bowl team, we had Brandon Jacobs, and we had Ahmad Bradshaw. And Ahmad Bradshaw was taken in the 7th round. So on a winning Super Bowl team, there were 3 running backs taken in the 7th round, and then undrafted free agents for winning Super Bowl teams, running backs. There were 7 of them in the last 20 Super Bowls. There were more undrafted free agents starting for teams in the Super Bowl, 7, than there were first rounders. So you don't need a first round running back. 21 out of the 27 running backs that were listed in Wikipedia that I came up with were not taken in the first round. 6 out of the 27 were. So by far, you do not need a first round running back to win a Super Bowl. And unfortunately, when it comes time, to trade or re-sign Saquon Barkley, I don't think we're going to be re-signing him. I think we're either going to trade him or we're just going to let him go. It's a shame. I mean, I love the guy. He can play on my team anytime, but we don't need him, unfortunately. I hate saying that, but we just don't need him. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!